This is probably the only glitch event that I've ever experienced, and it was one that was really, really strange to me. It's one of those things that honestly keeps me up at night sometimes, and it starts to bother me more than it should. Or maybe the fact that this happened and I can't forget it is a form of glitch in and of itself. Or maybe it's not a glitch and just something that happened. But honestly, it doesn't really feel like a coincidence as much as something being broken in reality. It was a couple years ago, I think back in the summer of 2018. My wife and I had a few days off work together, and we decided that we should go see her grandparents on the other end of the state. It's one of those drives that you can do in one go and not stop for anything other than gas, around 9 to 10 hours, if you really have the willpower to do so. That said, my wife doesn't have the willpower for long drives, so we had to stop at least once during the drive. She's looking at maps on her phone, and she sees that there's a gas station / convenience store a couple exits ahead and asks if we can stop. I, of course, agree, and we plan on getting off at the next exit. We make the exit and pull up to the gas station, and she tells me that she'll be right back. I decided to get out and walk around the car to stretch my legs and fill the tank preemptively. I'm watching the numbers roll on the pump and waiting for her to get back. After a few moments of waiting, I get back in the car and am waiting impatiently. Then she comes out and has a look of shock or confusion on her face. I was just thinking that maybe there was a weirdo in there or something, and then she gets in the car and tells me that the strangest thing just happened. I ask her what, and she tells me that the clerk in the station looked like my long-lost brother. I laughed at her and said, "Oh, really?" But the look on her face was dead serious. She wasn't joking. I started to brush it off, thinking that maybe we just kind of looked similar, only to have her tell me again that this guy looked like an identical twin. Obviously, this piqued my interest, so I parked and we got out of the car to go inside. I opened the door and stepped in. The clerk looked up to greet us as we entered, but he paused halfway through his sentence. I think he was going through the same weird feeling I was going through. We both kind of stood there staring at each other awkwardly for a few seconds. I will tell you that she was right. This guy looked exactly like me, down to the minute details. I have longer black hair. His hair was literally the same length as mine, and same color. He had dark green eyes that were the exact same as mine. He even had a small scar on his chin like I do, on the same side and damn near an identical length. He was the same height, same weight, same everything. It was honestly creepy as hell to me to be looking at someone that was basically a clone of myself. I really wasn't sure what to do, so I stepped up and awkwardly introduced myself. I told him that my wife had told me that there was a guy in the store that looked like me, but honestly, I didn't expect this. They weren't super busy, so we spent a bit of time chatting about things, and it all just kept getting weirder and weirder with every new detail. My name is Derek. His name was Eric. We were both named after our fathers. My mother's name was Anna, and his mother's name was Hannah. Both of our mothers passed away when we were kids. We were both born in March of 1996. I was born the 4th, he was born the 14th. The more we talked about things, the more it felt like he and I were identical twins, except he was from a different state altogether and had moved to that area with his girlfriend only a few months prior. We grew up in 2 totally different states, but honestly looked like we were related. Now, I know that this may be a coincidence, like I said, but the fact that I would pull into this specific gas station at this time during an impromptu road trip to my wife's grandparents' house across the state and run into someone that looked like they were basically a clone of myself just feels astronomical, like nearly impossible. Hopefully, I run into him again. We didn't exchange phone numbers or details or anything like that. We just kind of reveled in the moment and decided to move on. If we never run into each other again, I just hope he's doing well.